Review It TV, welcome back viewers. We're doing another video. This time we're doing a video on how to do a simple restoration of your headlights. As you can see over here, we've got some fogginess going on the headlights. You can see some discoloring from different types of fluids or things that may have dried onto the headlight, causing it to smog up like that. We've already started prepping, but what we're gonna do is go over a few simple steps. Today we're gonna be using a product, it's called 3M. 3M is basically just a headlight, ultra headlight restoration kit, is what they call it. You can get these at O'Reilly's for $18. It comes with everything you need, even on the back, as you can see, has all your little pads and then your actual clear coat pads that you'll use to make the lights turn completely clear when you're done. It'll go from this kind of to that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you guys how to tape stuff off. You wanna always prep your headlight area and tape everything off so the little sandpaper wheels don't grind the paint off your bumper, as well as getting a lot of that fluid and discoloring your bumper. So we'll go ahead and get the tape started and we'll show you what we're talking about. Okay guys, so as you can see, what you wanna do is you wanna get the tape into that little groove right there, really a small area to try to fit the tape into. So you wanna work your way slowly, but once you get it on, you'll just push it down. You're gonna go all the way around your headlight, up and over. You can even do the top area if you want up here. Once you get that done, then what you'll probably want to do is you'll want to get a bag, and we'll tape a bag right up under there, so any of the residual fluid drips down onto the bag in the floor and not all over your bumper. Once you get it going, as you can see on this side, he's already gotten most of it taped all the way around. So we're gonna do, like I said, a couple layers here, 2 to 3 layers. Once we get the 2 to 3 layers done and the bag's done, we'll go ahead and show you the next step using the stuff that came in the box, the kit, to get the headlights. Okay, so you can see that we're clearly just getting the preparation done here. This is just the part where you're getting the bag now. The bag is gonna drip down, not drip, but I should say hang down under the headlight. And that'll keep the dripping from the lens when we're using the product from staining up your bumper. And the tape, like I said before, it's going to really protect your bumper from scratches from the sandpaper wheels that we're going to use when we're actually working the magic to get this lens clear again. So yeah, get yourself prepped really good. That way you don't have any flaws after the fact. Okay guys, this is the contents of the box. Looks like that's the 3M box that all the contents come in. So it comes with some plastic surgical gloves. It comes with a little reel you're going to want to use, and this is what you're going to use on your drill. That'll go into the end of your drill, and then that's the sanding pad. It comes with 4 or 5, actually 5 of these yellow sanding pads. Then it comes with this fine like buffing pads that take out the scratches or kind of smooth down the scratches from sanding. And you have another rubber wheel, which I'm not quite sure. We'll get to that step once we get to it. Your instructions, things that didn't come included was the tape. So make sure you have some tape and some trash bags so you can tape off your lenses the right way, as you can see. It also came with the, it looks like, headlight clear coat. And this is going to be the last step. So yeah, that's pretty much everything in a handbag. Once you prep your area and have it all ready to go, you know, there's no particular fashion. This is how we did it with the trash bags. It doesn't matter from the blue to the green tape. We just used whatever tape we had at the moment. So that's how we prepped the area on both sides. So that's kind of the way you're going to want to do this to make sure that you're able to prevent any stains on the bumper. So get yourself, for the first process, get yourself a little bucket of soapy water, and what you want to do is get your rag and wring it out, get it all engulfed with the water and stuff, and then wring it out, squeeze it out tight, and then you're going to want to clean those lenses. You're just going to wipe them down. This is going to get any dirt or dust off of them. It's going to make them look kind of nice for a second, and you can see how they just turn clear. Well, that's kind of the effect that this is going to give it once we're done. They'll look real clear and nice again. Okay guys, so the first step is to get your sanding wheel that you're going to use on your drill. You're going to take one of your brown pads, which come in this particular box. If you have a different style of kit, they may be different colors, but in a sense, it's all going to be done in the same fashion. You're just going to stick that right on top of your little buffing pad, and this is the actual sandpaper. It's going to go into your drill. Now I recommend you leave this on 1. You don't want to put this on 2 because you don't want to go crazy on this. When you're doing this, you're not going to go all over the place. You're going to go back and forth like this in a solid line, going all the way back. And you want to keep this pad flush right here. If you don't keep this pad flush on the surface and you're like this going on or anything, it's going to leave uneven indentions and scrapes in there that won't come out. So you want to keep that pad flush as you're going back. So we'll start at the little area up here, and you want to try to sand in the little grooves. That's what this tape's for, is to stop you from sanding on the actual bumper. So if you're getting to that area and you start noticing you're ripping through the tape, pull back and reposition your buffing pad so you don't go all the way through and then sand your paint off of your bumper. So just go back and push down the tape. Some of it will come back up a little bit. This is just some cheap painter's tape. It's all you really use. You don't want to use duct tape or electrical tape because it won't come off easy and it'll leave adhesive all stuck to your bumper. This stuff will come off easy. So we're going to go ahead and do it a little bit. We're just going to, as you can see, then you want to do it up here in the groove. And we're not going to come up here. We're just going in a line, and it's gonna pull on your arm a little bit, so get a good grip onto it, guys, and don't let it. But notice I'm keeping the pad flat, and I'll slow down a little bit. And go back and forth so you can get it. And as you guys can see, it's fine sanding off the color of the lens build up on there. So we're just gonna keep going. And do it near the edge as best we can so we don't hit the bumper and sand the bumper. And we're just gonna keep going. Don't want to miss, but in a line. Now if your pad wears out and starts tearing through the sandpaper pad, you're just gonna get another one. Count how many you have and make sure you save an equal amount of pads for each lens. You have 2 lenses, so you know you don't want to use 4 on one lens and only have 1 left for the other. So just be even with your supplies. Alright guys, so once you do the sanding, you're gonna just take your wet soapy water rag, wring it out, wipe it off. Once you wipe it off, you're gonna look for any of the defects that you noticed that your lens had beforehand. If you got those defects out and you're just noticing this frosted look, then that's what you want. This is the outcome of the first sanding, is to get a smooth lens with a frost look to it. If you see any of those like stains or watermarks or things that you had noticed on your lens before, go back and resand in the same motion, back and forth like this. They give you several sanding pads, so you're able to do it several times depending on how bad your lens is. So this is what you want though when you're done, is the frosted look. I can see at the bottom here it's still a little bit foggy, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my second pad and I'm gonna go over this one more time anyways, and then I'll wipe off the dust and let it get to that frosted look. And then after that, we're ready to go to the next step. So we'll see you guys in just a sec. Okay guys, so take a look. This is the first result of using the P500 pad. That's the brown sanding pad. It gives you that frosted look on both lenses. If you're looking at this after you've sanded and wiped it down with a moist cloth, and you notice that any of the areas on here somewhere aren't frosted, then you need to go back over that area until it becomes the frosted texture that you're seeing on both these lenses. So let's go ahead and do the next step. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off this brown P500 sanding pad, which comes off simply. And it comes with these ones. These are cool to recognize because of the color, the purple coloring on it. These are the P800 sanding grit pads. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the sanding grit from the P500 to a P800 next. And basically, whoops, you're basically going to have the same type of circular motion. So let's go ahead and work our way over to the lens here. And we'll do the same thing. Now you can wear your mask. I suggest wearing a mask when you're doing this part because it is putting particles in the air off of the lens, which is plastic and nasty. You don't want to breathe that in. This is an actual time where you really do want to use a mask when they really can be justified for the most part. So let's go ahead and use this. So P800 is the new one we're going to use. Same circular motion. We're going to start at the top and we're just going to go in lines. Now make sure your vision where you can see is good. Don't be up here when you're coming down here. Be down here so you can see right where the edge of that pad is going so you don't come off and hit the bumper. So let's go ahead and start with the P800 pad now. As I said, just smooth, and it's going to reduce the scratches to a smaller grit size. So basically the scratches that we left from the P500 will get smaller with the P800 now. And that's how we make the texture smooth again. So take your time, go and keep the line straight and keep the pad flat as best you can. In some areas, depending on the shape of the lens, it may be harder to keep your pad flat when you're sanding, but just do what you can. The better you do, the better the result. Try to get to the edge as best you can. Notice the lines I'm doing. And I would suggest going over the lens twice, regardless if it looks good or not. It does say that you get a better result the more you sand anyway. So for each different type of pad that we're using, I would go over the lens twice for better results. You can see we're getting down to the edge there. So I'm going to come down as far as I can so I can see the edge of that pad. And I'm just going to go like this. As you can see, the tape is peeled right there where I accidentally nicked it, but it didn't go through and hit the bumper, so that was the whole point of protecting it. What's cool about doing this too is if you have a seat that you can roll on, you can kind of roll around as you're doing it. It makes it easier to position yourself when you get to tight spots like this edge. Alright. So, what you do, once you do that, is you're just going to take your rag, your washcloth, and I would suggest that each time you wipe this off, you rinse out your washcloth and get it clean so that way you can get the powder off. Keep a little bucket of soapy water nearby. Once you wipe it off, you're going to let it air dry until it fogs back up to that frosted look again. If you can still see some of the thicker grit lines from the previous pad that we used for the initial sanding, then you want to go over that again, but I already told you I'd recommend just doing it 2 times anyway. They give you enough pads to be able to go over it a couple times. And when you're wiping, always wipe in the same motion you're sanding. Just go in a line. Come back like this. Don't go like this and like this. Just go in the same motion that you're using the pads. Keeps any of the design of scratches the same so it doesn't look all uneven. And don't push hard, guys. Once you get that first little bit off, and let it dry like I said. And then we'll look at it from there. I'm going to sand it anyways, but you can tell whether or not the fine scratches are starting to buff out better with this finer grit pad. Once we get this done, we'll do the other headlight with the same pad. And then we'll go to the third step. The third step is going to be the final buffing pad, which is really going to make the scratches really fine to the point where this thing is smooth and there's no lines from your sanding paper at all. And then that's when we're going to get the clear coat pad. We're going to use the gloves for the last step and we're going to go over it, and the clear coat's what's going to stain it clear again and make it look like a new lens. So you can see right before our eyes, as this lens dries from using the sandpaper pad, it starts to turn frosty, and it's frosting right in front of you. Before you know it, this area right here will turn all this color. And then you can look at your lines, and if you still see a lot of sanding lines that are looking really thick, go over with that number 800 again one more time like I told you guys to. The more you take your time and the more you put into this, and don't be in a rush, the better clarity and clear the lens will give you once you're done for the final result. So we'll go ahead and sand it one more time. We'll come back to you guys when it's time for the third step. Okay guys, so we've done the 500 brown pad twice on this lens and twice on this other lens. The next pad is going to be the P800, which has the purple coloring. So I went ahead and did that twice on this lens, but I haven't gotten to this one. So I wanted to show you the difference between the two before I do the second one. So if you look here, after doing both pads twice, you have this nice smooth frosted texture. You don't see a lot of any lines from the buffering pad spinning. If you notice, before I use the 800 on this side though, if you come and look closely, if you look down here, you can see the lines and stuff from that pad hitting. And that's what it leaves on there before we use the second process, which is the 800. So I wanted you guys to know what the 800 is doing is it's taking away all those marks, and it's going from a thicker grit down to the finest grit possible before you put your clear coat pad on there. So just wanted to show you guys that, and we'll go ahead and finish this, and then we'll get back to you guys for the third pad, which is going to be the water buffing pad. Okay guys, so we're finishing up the second lens using the second 800 sanding pad that I showed you. I wanted to show you guys when you're getting next to the edge here, just to kind of favor the edge of your pad. That kind of helps you to avoid hitting the tape in your bumper. Now when you get down here, what you want to do is, before you get down there, is actually just finish doing your lines. Don't hold your drill trigger all the way in. You don't want it to spin too fast. Kind of at a medium speed on number 1. And see how we're going in lines. And I'm checking my area. This is the second sanding pad, which is taking the thick lines out from the first one, as I've already mentioned. And the reason I keep mentioning these things repetitively over and over again is to help you guys avoid forgetting a step. If you forget a step, you could ultimately just ruin the way your headlights look, and if you end up having to buy some new ones because of that, you're talking hundreds of dollars, maybe even more than that, depending on your car. So when you're getting to the edge like this, you know, you don't want to do this because you're going to hit your bumper. Just get your edge, and you're going to have to work it a little bit that way, and then come back and work it this way. Watch. So we're going to hit the edge like this. And do it for a second, because you're not going to be able to get this area that great anyway. So then you're going to come back and turn it this way. You come down like this, a little more speed. And look, see how easy you got in there, and you did minimal damage to the tape, if any. So you're not hitting your bumper. And then look down here, and you want to get this whole edge. Remember to keep your buffer pad flat though. You don't want to push on the edge completely. You want the pad to stay at a flat surface as you go all the way around here. And see, once you get it done, then you just take your rag, give it a quick blow off, and do it in the same pattern you're buffing. Come back and just try to do single-handed lines. Don't go like this. Wipe it nice and smooth. Like that. Down to the bottom one. Okay guys, this is the final buffing step here. This is kind of like a rubber pad. It's the 3000 grit. It's actually still a sandpaper, but it's so fine that it feels like it's rubber. So you're just going to stick that to your gun, your drill gun, and get it ready. They say to go ahead and just soak it like so. Want to get the water on that thing really good. We're going to do anywhere from 6 to 12 passes per lens with this. It's kind of messed up. Yeah, depends. What the idea of this is, we're going to go ahead and take it from the 800 grit down to the 3000 grit, which is somewhat give you a clear look to it, not just this frosty look. So once we start getting that clearish look blended in with the frost look, then we know that it's right where it needs to be before the final step. So we'll go ahead and show you a little bit of that, and then once we get it completely done, we'll get to the next step and the final step. Don't go crazy with the water, just get it moist. A little bit there where you're going to start buffing. Same motion that you've been using. If you do this right, keep your pad flat. This shouldn't take as long as it would seem. Keep it at a medium pressure, don't push too hard. And if you get to an area where there's no water, spray it again, because you want this to be wet. So don't do it on any dry surfaces. If the area gets dry, spray it. Same way, back and forth lines, and keep it going about right there in speed. And come back again this way. A little bit more water for this area. I'm just going to go ahead and spray it. We don't got to keep on doing this over and over and over again on that, but there we go. Start again for the second pass. I'm gonna do about 5 passes myself, honestly, and then I'm gonna look at it. So I don't know if you need, it says to do at least almost 6 passes, and then if it doesn't come out right, to do 12 passes then. But we'll see. Her lenses on this car weren't terrible, so I don't know if we're gonna need that much. This isn't that hard, guys. Don't let this intimidate you or deter you, because I mean, you can see how it's coming out. Look at that lens already. It's working. I mean, it's still gonna need some passes. Once it dries, it'll look foggier again, but it shouldn't be so foggy. It should start clearing up. And then the areas where it seems to be fogging up the most are the areas you're probably gonna have to go over again. So we're just gonna go ahead and... So after we're done with this lens, we'll show you what it looks like for the result of this 3000 sanding pad. And then we'll get ready to put the clear coat, which is the final step, the final coating, which will give it that real clear coat look. We'll be right back. Okay guys, so after using the number 3000 sanding pad, which was the third and final step as far as sanding goes, you can see that this is after the second step, which would be the 800. So we did the 500, the 800, and then the last pad is the 3000. So this is what it looks like, and you can tell in comparison that it's substantially clearer than that one after using the third and final number 3000 sanding pad. So now that we've gotten it to this step, this is going to be the fourth and final step, which will come to using the clear coat pad. And that's where we're going to wipe it over, and it's going to make that kind of like translucent and then go completely clear to look like a new lens again. So let me get this one completely finished with this number 3000 so it'll look like this one, and then we'll get ready for that last step I've been telling you about. Okay guys, so now that we've done all 3 steps involving the sanding pads, 3 different sanding pads, multiple times, the next step is to peel off your tape. So you're going to want to get all your tape off, get it out from around. Take it off gently though, don't peel it off all fast, you're not in a hurry. This job wasn't meant to be done in a hurry, so if you're trying to be in a hurry, I would wait till you have a whole day to just mess around. The funny thing is it doesn't take a whole day, but I'm filming 2 videos simultaneously back to back in between takes. I'm doing this headlight restoration kit video, and then I'm also doing a rims restoration video for your rims on this vehicle. So if you guys are interested in seeing that video too, look for the link or the end card, whichever, and you can see that video as well. So the final step though, after we take all this tape off, is we're going to wipe down around the area, clean it up. Make sure you use a clean, just plain wet washcloth to go over your lens in the same pattern we've been doing this whole video. You're going to want to get those lenses super clean and ready for this clear coat pad that we're about to put on. That way everything comes out really nice. And you can see why we're going to go ahead and do this. You can see all that residual nastiness. We're going to just take some regular water and rinse it out. So keep a little bucket of water clean and clear. You don't want it to be all foggy and nasty, and just lightly come over and clean the area all the way down. Welcome back to the final step, guys, of the headlight restoration video. This is the part where you're going to use that one OJ glove they give you. So don't tear it up unless you have more. So, upon confirming the actual steps with the clear coat pads, it isn't one pad per lens like you would think. We're actually going to go over this lens first, and then use the same pad to go over the second lens. We'll wait 5 to 15 minutes for it to dry, then we'll do the second clear coat pad the same way. First lens, second lens. After that, you just let your head lenses dry for about an hour before you get any water precipitation on them, and that's it. They're good for 2 to 4 years. So yeah, and if you have your car in the garage, it's probably gonna be a lot longer than that. So we'll go ahead and get this started. So just take one of your pads. You don't unfold these pads at all. I want you guys to understand that you got to leave them the way they sit. And you're not going to push on it with your finger. So this is where I'm going to want you to take a closer look, so that way you can see exactly how I'm doing this. We're going to go on the same lines we did with the buffing or the sanding pads, in that same motion, horizontally back and forth. You don't want to push on with your finger. You're actually going to hold it and use the corner of one half, and you're going to kind of just like drip it over. Now as you make your first line, you want to overlap your second line about 25% over the first one. If you mess up going across, don't stop. Just get it slowly, and if you start to see bubbles, you need to slow down. But just slowly wipe it, and then you're going to do your next one. Real gentle, but letting the pad do it itself, just like so. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to overlap it. For the second one, you're not supposed to push with your hand. Kind of just drag it, and it's overlapping about 25%. Take your time. If you see bubbles, they said, then you're not doing it right. And you see I'm not really pushing with my finger, I'm just holding that pad so it guides it down. Do it again, 25%. Don't stop actually. See, I'm making a mistake there. If you miss a little spot, just come back and get it later. You don't want bubbles. So we're doing it, and I'm not perfect at this, guys. This isn't as easy as it looks. You gotta have a steady hand and some patience. So if you don't do it right, you're gonna really be pissed off when your headlights look retarded. And we're trying not to do that today, so try to come down. Now if you touch this pad onto your bumper, have a wet rag wrung out close by. You're gonna immediately want to go ahead and wipe off your bumper. You do not want this chemical from this part of the process on your bumper. So as you guys can see, 25% overlapping the previous line I did. Right in front of your eyes, you can see that it's actually working pretty well. Now this is the first coat. Keep in mind we're going to be doing a second coat. That second coat's going to really finalize how nice this looks. So just keep going. Don't stop. Can't stop. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, keep going. And then we're going to turn the pad over when we go to the next lens to do the next side, so we have a fresh end. And so the lines are looking kind of funky here, but just kind of go in that horizontal order. And then when you get down to the bottom, kind of just go slow, because it's got to soak into that rough texture from sanding. And this is the part where you want to try to get it on the edge as best as you can. Now we're not going to get this perfect. This is kind of hard, guys. It's not hard, but it's kind of touchy. Alright, so that's it. We're not going to go back and go over the second lines here. We're going to go ahead and just start this next side. I know this video is going to be a little bit longer than people anticipated because of this, but sorry guys, it's just the way it goes. Okay guys, so this is the second pad for the clear coat. You're going to go over it again. It's been about 15 minutes. When you go over it again, just like I said, do it the same way. Just kind of real smooth. I'm doing it with the fatter side this time. And this is to try to make sure that I get any lines that I may have left the first time around. So that way it looks really clean. This is going to be it after this, guys. You can see it's coming out real nice. And I mean, I know a lot of you guys may not have patience to do this, but I like doing stuff like this, and it saves money. And you know, it's just useful to be able to do stuff like this. So, like I said, don't make bubbles. You do not want bubbles on this. So that's, if you're going too fast, it's because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing here. Slow and accurate is the key to getting this done right. So the final step, I'm gonna move over and keep a seat to roll with me here, because I don't want to. Okay, so that's the final one on that side. There's a couple little spots here. I'm not gonna let it drip down. Let's do it to this one. And actually, I'll just go ahead and finish this up. We'll come back to the final product, guys, and then we'll call it a day. All right, guys, look at that view. Look at those lenses. Look how clean and clear those things came out. Tell me those things don't look like brand new lenses. So, you guys got to see the whole process from start to finish. Pretty simple. It's just time consuming because of the amount of buffing you have to do, but you're using a gun, so it's pretty easy to do. Take your time, don't rush. If you need to rewind the video and watch some certain steps, do it, because it pays off and you'll get this nice clean effect. We did another video as well simultaneously at the same time, and we're still able to get both of them done completely right. So I'm pretty happy with the results of this. Keep an eye out on the channel. We have some cool other videos coming. We got an unboxing of a night vision binocular set we bought, as well as some thermal imaging. So I hope you guys liked this video, and if you didn't, you can go bang dirt. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys watching the channel. Please subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.